G'day everyone, it's Jaimunji here and I'm with Orion from Behemoth. How are you today, my friend?
Very well, thank you.
Now, it's Good Things 2023. Big lineup, huge lineup, different lineup. How do you feel Behemoth fitting on this bill kind of helps balance everything out?
I don't know, you tell me. For us, it's like one of the most diverse festivals we've ever played.
No, but I think it's a good thing because you look at the lineup, you got Fall Out Boy, Limp Bizkit, bands like Boom Crash Opera, who are an Australian pop band from the 80s. You got Eskimo Joe, and then you got bands like yourself, Sepultura, Slaughter to Prevail, all these things kind of balancing it out. I guess you're going to see a lot of people who never even would have thought to listen to your music maybe accidentally stumble across it today.
Yeah, it feels like we're getting a lot of new fans with this kind of thing that we're doing. And it felt like this yesterday on stage. Like there were people just passing by and they're like, oh, that's interesting, that's different. So yeah, I think we're getting some new fan base here, which is great.
All right. For those who don't know, Fletcher from Pennywise just pissed in a cup, took a drink of it and left it with me here. So yeah, I don't think I'll be having any of that. What about yourself?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. He's an interesting gentleman. All right, he's gone. Touring for the last album, like that kind of, it blew up big and it's kind of shown a more progressive side to the band. I think you're getting a lot more, I don't know, it almost feels like it's less about songwriting. It feels like you guys are writing scores now. Every piece of music feels a little bit more like a piece of art. Maybe that's just my opinion of the thing, but what's your take on that?
We're just old, you know, that's... You need to have some kind of approach, and that's a very kind thing you say. Thanks for that. It's a constant process of developing, you know. That's just where we are now. It's pretty much everything has been already said in music, and we have our own path, and that's our elements that we're in. I wouldn't call it a progression. I mean, in a way it is a progression, but we're not very progressive. We're I would even say we're rather retro. So that's, yeah, that's it.
Well, anything over 20 years old now is considered retro, so I guess you're not exactly wrong with that statement at the same time. But
very, very sorry to say, but this band has just turned over 30. And yeah, I mean, I'm glad some people still see it as a progression, you know, the successes that we're still alive. You know?
I guess now that over 30 years, you're almost bordering on being classical metal. Like you think of these bands?
I'm not going to be around by then, but hopefully.
How'd you find writing this album compared to the others? Because this was the first album, I believe, after the pandemic. Like, did that change kind of how everything went for you guys when it came into recording things, or did you have that extra time during the downtime to kind of map out everything you wanted to do?
We did have way too much time for that, and apparently that's never a good thing. You know, we've used to working on schedule, and even it doesn't really sound the most creative. At some point, when the music and the band becomes your main occupation, you need certain rules to operate with. You know, for this last one, we didn't really have any timeline or deadlines or whatever, and we took a long time to write it, then to track it, then to mix it.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do it next time. I mean, with a new one that we already started working on, that's gonna be I mean, at least me, I need some discipline, you know. Yeah. If you're able to work on one thing over and over, and you're an artist, you're never happy with it, you know. There's always certain things that you may change. If I look back on the things that we've done in the past, I would pick things and keep changing them. Yeah. And you need to be able to close the thing and just not look back, you know. And I like the fact that the pandemic is over, and then we don't have to do that anymore, you know.
Yeah, you make a good point, because a lot of bands have done things like they've re-recorded old songs and they've made slight little changes to them, and no one's. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that was better, because there's something about capturing the magic in the initial recording. And I guess you're right. If you do give yourself too much time, I guess prime example would have been Axl Rose with the Chinese Democracy. 20 years working on that, and you can tell.
That's a good example. That's a perfect one, actually. He's brilliant. He didn't really need the pandemics for it, right?
No, he got in. He was the first one. He did it before it was cool. So what are big plans for you guys coming up? I guess you're capping off this with a big festival in Australia. You're no stranger to coming to Australia, of course. It's always a pleasure to have you guys down here, from the sound waves, the good things, and who knows what's in future. But how's 2024 looking for Behemoth?
Yeah, we're wrapping up tours for last album, for Opvs Contra Natvram. This is the last one, and we sit down to work on new stuff. So New Year, that's going to be a lot of rehearsing, tracking, just writing music and being what we're good at, and we're probably going to do festivals in Europe next year, and that's pretty much it if it comes to touring. So the next year is the studio for us, mainly.
So you get a bit of a studio year, a couple of shows here and there, but you kind of get to relax a bit, I guess, as much as you can.
Work more than relax. We've had enough relaxing during the pandemics. It's time to move on and to do things instead of look at things.
No, well, I won't keep you too long, because I know you've got your gig coming up very, very soon. I don't want to make you late. I don't think they'll be too happy with Jai over here if you're late for the show. But is there anything you just kind of wanted to sign off to the Australian fans? Just thank you for the last, I guess you're ending the tour here. Best for last.
I'm just happy to be here, and every time I come to Australia, I always think that I could stay and live here. It's a beautiful place. You guys are lucky to have it, preserve it. Just the only thing is you're at the end of the world, and I don't like that. But other than that, I'm happy to be here, and I'll be very happy to come back.
And we'll be happy to have you back, and thank you for bearing that flight. I've done that long flight myself. It's not fun. If you haven't done it, you maybe understand why bands don't always tour Australia. It's hard on the back as you get older.
You're actually talking about the thing that I have a big issue with, because my back is not good, and I'm having lots of discomfort during the flights, but that's the part of the deal. I have to live with it, and
you always got to sacrifice a little bit to put it in. But once again, mate, thank you so much for your time today. I'm looking forward to the show, and it's going to be a good one.